Hey everybody, Blind Man Audits here. I wanted to take some time to highlight a video from my friend Evan Reality. He's the guy in the Jacksonville jersey. Wish he were in Broncos gear, but not a perfect world. That being said, the link in the description will lead you to his channel where you can view future content coming from him. Take the time to give him a sub and say Blind Man Audits sent you.
Armac, ANCAP Gamer, AQI Audit, Zach, Johnny Bravo, Evan Reality, Blind Man Audit.
The video is pertinent because it has to do with all the deep corruption that is happening in Sheridan.
Felt your breath against me. I smelled it way before you blew me, homie.
Hello, I am Effin Gato, and welcome to Effin Gato Presents Effin Reality Podcast, blah blah blah. Tonight, we have a very great special presentation for you. That is being performed by the idiot coward, Effin Reality. Effin Reality, he's so brave. Look at him running away. Look at him run away. Just look at him run away. So brave. So brave. So without further ado, here's Effin Reality. Thanks, Effin Gato. Sure is nice to team up with someone that's so sophisticated and talented as yourself. Anyway, welcome to the Effin Reality Podcast. I'm Effin Reality. It's been a couple of years for a lot of you. It's been a couple of years for me. I guess that's how that works. On today's episode, it's not going to be the conventional off-the-cuff comedy hour that we normally have. No. I am going to try to make it as funny as I can, but we're here today for something very serious. And it's one subject, and we're going to stick to it. I know that's so off what we normally do, but that's what we're doing today. Stick with me, okay? There was this speech that was given by a city council member. City council member Terrence Kelly of Sheridan, Colorado. Now, for some of you, you've been following this whole situation and you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly who Terrence Kelly is. You know exactly what the city of Sheridan has been up to. And you know that I've been an activist fighting against it, along with several others. This speech given by Councilman Terrence Kelly was so egregious and hit me so deep that I had to come out of retirement. That's right. This channel isn't even monetized.
You know me. I'm like, let me say something.
Please say something.
Nah, I ain't saying nothing about no whiskey or nothing tonight. You know, like I said, yeah, I love seeing all you guys up here. But it's, the main thing is not to play into it. You know, if you go and you do research, you look at these guys, have they really won anything? Have they really sued someone and won? No. They make their money off of their podcasts and their subscriptions and their YouTube clicks. So they have to get underneath your skin to make their ratings go up. That's what they do. That's how they make money. Don't play into it. Don't pay them no mind. Don't argue with them. Don't go back and forth with them. It's a waste of time. You know what I mean? I've been doing this for not politics, but I've been in the federal government for a while. And I deal with First Amendment auditors all the time. We don't play. Just don't play into it. You know what I mean? If you're going to sue someone, you go and sue them. You don't keep showing up to their front yard crying and whining and doing all this crazy stuff, you just go sue. You got all the evidence and all the stuff you need.
Yep.
Go make it happen. You know what I mean?
Well said.
They just want to come here, like I said, to get the attention, to get people riled up, to go on their podcast, and people donate them $20 here and $15 there. That's how they make their money. It ain't about them suing someone. They're not getting paid from suing anyone. That's the bottom line. You know what I mean?
I agree, buddy.
Now, next time we're going to have some witness. No, I'm joking.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, our meeting is adjourned then at 7:29 p.m.
All right, everyone have a good night.
Some of you have already been following this story. You already know about Sheridan, what's been going on. You know about all the characters that have come along. Terrence Kelly, Jay Whitaker Brown, Deb Granberry. Oh, so proper, that Deb Granberry. He must be such a dandy. Did I say dandy? Maybe I meant daddy. There's something going on with him. He's fancy. Police Chief Martinez. Now, I could do a whole episode on him. Let's not forget, convicted domestic abuser Ernie Camacho, former councilman Ernie Camacho. I didn't mean to mention the domestic abuser part, sorry. But if you Google it, it's true. Let's just look it up. So if I got everyone caught up at once on this story, it would be 6+ hours this episode. And I'm trying to recapture an audience. I'm not trying to make you all run away. So let's do the too long didn't read version. The first thing that happened is a lot of you may be already familiar with Denver Metro Audits. He's actually a personal friend of mine. We met through prank calls. Snowplow show for life, baby. PLA. You all know if you know. If you don't, Google Snowplow Show. I recommend starting on episode 500 to get caught up. DMA is known for First Amendment right activism, just filming his business when he tries to utilize the government and their services. You know, normal things. He's also a journalist, as am I. So DMA began to notice that there were some speed cameras, not just the normal speed cameras that sit there autonomously, but a van that contained a woman. In that van, they were taking photos of every car that went by and issuing them a ticket if they were speeding. Now, the interesting thing about this ticket is, I'm not a lawyer, you have a Fourth Amendment right to face your accuser. And so therefore, those tickets, unless they're issued to you directly by a police officer, are not valid. You don't have to pay them. And so because of this fact, DMA felt like a lot of people were getting scammed by the city of Sheridan, who was just raking in money that they weren't entitled to necessarily. As a result of one of those encounters, Barbara, the lady in the van, I believe that was her name, began taking pictures of DMA. Now, when you're working for the government and you begin to take pictures of people, you are creating a public record that's accessible by us. As a result, DMA went to the city of Sheridan's municipal building and filed a records request for the footage that was made by the woman in the van. And that's how this whole thing got started. For a lot of this episode, I'm going to be directly talking to Terrence and the employees of the city of Sheridan government. Employees of the People's Republic of Sheridan. Thanks, AFA. You are not some super class of people with protected sensibilities that must be maintained above all else. You can't just pick and choose when to do your jobs. Not when someone isn't breaking a law. Your policies, they don't trump the law, and they don't trump our rights. You can't only choose to work for the people willing to lick your boot and give up their rights for your comfort. You can't ignore or arrest those that don't. I can tell you right now, the only thing that you people are upset about is that a public record was made by one of your employees. And when a request for that record was made legally by someone you don't like, who is exposing you, it was ignored, despite the KORA laws stating it must be responded to by 3 business days, and in most cases fulfilled within 20. But you know this. It's your job. Even if it fell under CCJRA, you still must respond to the request within a reasonable amount of time. When questioned about it and legally applicable grievances were made to the city manager, Dev Granberry, he got his feelings hurt. And he used his perceived power he didn't even have, by the way, to pass a rule that said no filming unless all parties consent, and thus refused to do his job while being filmed in public. He then went and instructed his employees to do the same thing. And you all listened. When we pointed out you were filming us without our consent, security camera, you turn yours off, I'll turn mine off. Your silent stares showed that we broke your municipal brains. You kept filming, and so did we. You see, fans of reality, millions of dollars are spent on these huge government buildings, and these people think they can hide in them. They keep people out that need service, or refer them to go online for something that they could just as easily do and are paid to do, in fact. I mean, at this point, we may as well just replace them with the websites. Sure, it would be a shame to have to turn those now empty municipal buildings into housing for the homeless or something else more useful than a castle for special people to hide out and collect welfare checks while banning anyone they don't like from entering it, or they just refuse to do their jobs, and if someone doesn't like it or wants to complain, the next thing that happened was 14 people and one lizard-like creature with the nature of a sewer rat showed up with cameras to peacefully conduct business. They all made records requests and filled them out with all the required information. Well, nothing that violated our Fourth Amendment rights, of course. You have to have privacy. But the city manager and his employees refused to take their requests. They just had to take the requests and we would have left. It's so stupid. But egos made them call the police.
This, and then I also need a form.
Okay, so let's do this first. So according to what we give you guys previously, you were there at the council members hearing. You guys are more than welcome. You are more than welcome to videotape around here, but you can't videotape inside that window and the one down below. Everything else,
No, that's not true. That's not true, sir.
Now, if you guys continue to do that,
doesn't say that.
so if you continue to do that, then we will deal with that. Now, your records request. You had your
Are you
forms.
gonna, so you're gonna do our records request?
No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm looking
That's
for
out of his jurisdiction. You can't do it.
I'm looking for some stuff I'm
Who
allowed to
just
have.
went off in the
So
aircraft?
Armac just got arrested.
Why?
I don't know.
And he's out there by himself?
I'm trying to tell you. I can go.
Here, I'm gonna go out there.
We're just trying to record, so we're looking for information.
There's a way to do things, guys, and that's what we're here. I'm here. Did I not work with you last time?
I appreciate you. I'm sure you've seen the videos. I gave you a lot of praise. I like your demeanor. So here's the thing, Lieutenant Mitchell. We're here for business. Okay?
Sure. So I got this one. So this is all.
I guess I should mention that I was one of the 14 people that was there. 5 were arrested, a few of them violently. One even had a chokehold put on her, which is very illegal in Colorado right now, by the way. No one resisted, but it didn't matter. Lessons must be taught to those heathen agitators. What happened to those people in jail and ever since? We'll cover it later. I mean, honestly, I prefer to have them tell their story if possible. It's out there if you look hard enough. But we'll get into it at some point if need be. Just trust me, it wasn't pleasant. Lieutenant Mitchell took our records request, but to date, no response has been made to any of these records.
If you continue to do that, then we will deal with that. Now, your records request. You had your
Are you
forms.
gonna, so you're gonna do our records request?
No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm looking
That's out of
for
his jurisdiction. You can't do it.
I'm looking for some stuff I'm
Who
allowed
just
to
went
have.
off in the
So
aircraft?
Armac just got arrested.
Why?
I don't know.
And he's out there by
So
himself?
I'm trying to tell you. I can go.
Here, I'm gonna go out.
I'm certain that no response has been made to the one that I made. I merely asked for the pest control budget for the castle that they work in. Makes someone wonder what the hell they're hiding in the bug spray. Something's definitely being hidden from us. I mean, what other reason is there to ignore such a benign request? We're on to you, Sheridan. Yeah. Anyway, since then, we've gone to city council meetings to petition our government for a redress of grievances, which is in the First Amendment as well. Every other Monday since that day and in between, The government of Sheridan, in cooperation with Arapahoe County, have used violence, prevented DMA, Sweet Tea, another auditor, and other journalists, activists, and anyone else that decides to show up from filming. They got court orders and arrests based on false information, all to silence these people from being able to hold them accountable. They even tried to prevent them from showing up inside the City Hall building until a judge forced them to overturn it. Sorry, Jay.
You don't need to do it now during city council. I know how to do things the right way.
You know how to do things the right way?
That's why you got kicked out of court.
I know, right? I do things the right way, but the judge throws me out of court.
That was an awesome display, Jay. It was awesome. Hilarious.
I can't believe that.
The world missed it.
That you guys
Keep getting mad.
Guys, I had nothing to do with that. I have nothing. You didn't belong there, you dumbass. You made such a fool of yourself.
so much.
All of this just to avoid doing the basics of their job. When we do get a chance to speak, you all just ignore us and talk shit about us when we leave the room. Hot mics and you all forgetting that your meetings are recorded has demonstrated this shit talking, revealing your true feelings about citizens. We call, we email, we're polite, we're not so polite, and we're ignored no matter what.
Go sit down, please. You know what that can be?
Is that okay?
That can be considered. What are you coughing on me, bro?
I'm not
What's
coughing.
your problem? Why don't you give me some space?
I got you. You got plenty of space here, man.
I felt your breath against me. I smelled it way before you blew on me, homie. Go sit down.
Why are you yelling?
Because you just...
This is how the city council acts in the city? You're yelling at a citizen?
Because you just blew in my face for...
You told me I had bad breath, so I was making sure I didn't have bad breath.
You're an idiot.
Is that okay?
You're an idiot, and I can't wait to find out your name. And I'm gonna come back at you.
Go ahead.
About what you just
Go ahead.
All right?
You know, like I said, yeah, I love seeing all you guys up here. But it's, the main thing is not to play into it. You know?
Don't play into it, Terrence says. Yeah, don't. Just do your jobs. Take your emotions and your ego out of it. Can you do that? Clearly, you can't. Good attempt at advice, Terrence. But you can't refuse to do your job and keep it. No one asked any of you to do anything crazy. All we're doing is asking you to do your job. And you don't like the person who is asking you to do it. And now you don't like the other people that are asking you to do it. That's a lot of people to hate. Makes your job a little bit easier when you don't have to do it so much. Oh, I don't like this person. Oh, this person's wearing a hat I don't like. Oh, there's a Jaguars fan. Him. Oh no, that person doesn't have the same skin color as me. Well, I don't have to help him, do I? Well, I won't make it about skin color. I'll make it about something else. You guys are fucking assholes. So now you all have checked out and you think you get to go on vacation now. Well, that's not how it works, bro.
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 Bro. Bro. Bro.
Bro.
Bro. Paint the people how you want, but we're all just individuals trying to get you to listen and fix your wrongs. You could have just made us all bored by complying, but you keep poking at a huge bear and crying when it roars back at you. You think we can't get organized and get you all replaced? I can't think of an easier task unless you are all actually related to each other. And there are no residents of Sheridan. Are you guys just some big family commune? Is that why you're so sure that I'm not from Sheridan? Huh. You guys got some weird shit going on. Or it's just a small group of people that have been allowed to get away with whatever the heck they want for the longest time. We won't just go away, you dingy. I live extremely close. And we're not just going to go away when you keep doubling down, attacking our rights and freedom. Instead, you got tons of pissed off people at you. So much so, there was an over 3-hour-long public meeting with people telling you how pissed off they were and how to correct it. And instead of doing anything about what they were pissed off about, y'all got together and limited public speaking to 30 minutes at the next meeting. So no one can speak online anymore. So that means that people with disabilities, people who couldn't otherwise attend physically are barred from speaking. Some members of the city council and chief of police then chose to stack the audience with current and former members of the Sheridan government and their friends, girlfriends, and family members, acting like they were civilians, just normal civilians there. They were concerned at how these people, these outside agitators, were talking to these lovely, lovely members of government who have only done good. They've only ever done good. So all these people came in front at the next meeting, basically, and filled all the available speaking spots. Not one of them addressed what the citizens were complaining about. Instead, they made up stories about how good the police and city manager were, as I was just saying. Most of them slipped that they knew the city council members and/or police chief Martinez personally in some way, scolding the real citizens for not being polite and showing proper decorum while they were being abused and silenced by their government. Some even claimed to be free speech absolutists, but thought these people should be arrested and forced to shut up because they came off rude and lacked decorum. They pointed out that some of us make money from ad revenue on the journalism that we publish and have subscriptions from people that want to consume our content. Truly terrifying to know that there are independent journalists out there that don't play along with the government like the corporate media companies do. Complaining that we hide behind our civil rights to remain anonymous and use our First Amendment rights to the fullest extent allowed by the Bill of Rights, a document that keeps the government from doing exactly what you have been trying to do. Silence opposition. Arrest anyone that refuses to comply with your rules, that attempt to supersede the Bill of Rights, and vilify and dehumanize anyone who protests against your illegal actions. Quite a republic you've built here with a population of 6,000 people. Here's how human nature works. A totally hypothetical situation to help everyone with this concept. Let's say you're filming somewhere you're allowed to film. Some random person doesn't like it, and so they throw their body at you and your camera. They step on your foot. They block you from moving and filming after their body contacts yours. At first, you may ask for them to stop, to move out of your way, but instead they ignore you. They make a huge scene and press you even harder. Human nature shows us that people are going to stop being polite and start being real. If you still don't move, there's a chance you could be shoved back. In the normal animal world, it may work that way. But what if the person assaulting you and harassing you in this situation is connected to the government? Well, instead of moving or being made to move, you get arrested. And you get a protective order put on you that prevents you from going to the police of Sheridan. It's a hypothetical situation. That prevents you from going to the police to report a crime when another member of the government assaults and harasses you, one with a history of domestic violence. Totally hypothetical, but you can see how things can go. So the human without any local recourse in this scenario would have to seek recourse from outside the tribe. But they would still have to deal with that person pushing on them while they try merely to exist. Unless they push back. Now see, we will never push you back. But we will keep telling you and everyone else to back the fuck up until you do. These people you keep messing with are not going to ever go away until this is resolved. It will not end like you think it will. It will end in you being sued and probably losing your jobs. At the very least, you will be made to get off our feet and stop leaning on us. Metaphorically and literally speaking. Well, unless someone likes being stepped on, leaned on, and ignored. Some do, I guess. I'm not going to kink shame you. Well, next, wouldn't you know it, the people with grievances showed up early and made sure that they got to speak after the government and their friends dominated the previous meeting. We ended up taking over the entire speaking part of that meeting.
Yeah, that's in reality.
I'm really upset that I missed the pizza last time. So I came today. It's all right.
Gotta show up, man.
I guess so. Here I am. My friends and family don't carry guns to conduct government business. They don't act scared for their lives hiding behind people with guns either. My friends carry cameras and pocket constitutions, and they act brave. Unarmed, asking you to simply do your jobs, and that is met with violence. It's met with a gang of thugs and all their friends and family acting thuggish alongside of them, attempting to create a deadly encounter with unarmed, non-violent activists. None of us are violent. In fact, all the evidence for that claim is available to you with a free YouTube subscription. Hundreds of hours where you can watch all these people and how they never accomplish their goals with threats of violence. And they never carry out any acts of violence. So let's all admit that the fear being claimed to generate a violent encounter is being manufactured. It's not reality. Y'all better get your acts together immediately. Stand up for what's right, drop all the charges against the people you arrested, and destroy that administrative order that is unconstitutional and was put in place by someone who has no right to pass laws or rules for anyone that is not a Sheridan employee. Limiting who can speak is only making this process take longer. If any of you have the guts to do what's right, now's the time to do better. Elevate humanity. Show what you're made of, because so far no one's impressed by how you've handled this situation. Except your friends and family, of course.
And the residents of Sheridan.
I live here too.
Don't interrupt the speaker, please.
Please. If you have any issue with having your pictures taken, don't work in government. We're allowed to take your pictures. We're allowed to film our encounters. We're allowed to exist. That's our right. And you guys can't infringe on it no matter how hard you try. We'll keep showing up. Here's a little math for you. There's 6,000 residents in Sheridan, only 2,000 registered to vote. I could easily get 200, 300 activists out here and we could canvass it in a weekend. It's not Denver, it's 2 city blocks. It would be too easy to show them what you guys are really up to around here. And I do live around here, Jay. Take it easy.
And what'd you do, Sheridan? Y'all still ignored everybody. But next meeting, you brought in all your bootlicker friends and family again. Adorable. And even though they weren't there first, they shoved their way into the meeting to sign up before everyone else. And this caused such a ruckus that you then used that seemingly pre-orchestrated event to cancel all public speaking. Oh, and I should mention that this is when you had DMA and Sweet Tea arrested before they got inside the meeting on bogus charges produced from when they were attacked by you. So after no one was able to speak and everyone opposed to Sheridan left, that's when Terrence, tough guy Terrence, big, strong, I just want to be friends with everyone, whiskey and chicken wings, let's all be friends, Terrence. Yeah. You finally had something to say, didn't you, you badass? Until now, you've had nothing to say, but you felt safe. But then we got to see your true colors, didn't we? Okay, now let's get into the speech again.
You know, if you go and you do research, you look at these guys, have they really won anything? Have they really sued someone and won? No.
Say Terrence. Sorry, I got that South Park thing going every time I hear your name. You didn't do your research very well. Activists and journalists win lawsuits against false arrests, deprivation of civil rights under color of law, whatever you want to call it. These are just some examples of the wrongs that get righted by a long and expensive judicial process. Typically, it's reserved for those that can afford the time and the money to have that long battle against the government. It's a privilege, as most do not or cannot endure that fight while working full-time, living paycheck to paycheck, whatever else is going on in their lives. The government has endless tax money to fight citizens for years, and they pray to Sally's God that you just give up or you settle so they get to take no responsibility. Sally? Oh, Sally's one of the members of the city council. They pray before each city council meeting, and she's the one that takes personal offense and acts all, oh my, anytime someone says, you know, a shit word or a fuck word. I, for my part, did not swear once during any of my speeches that I remember. But you're allowed to, is the point, Sally. Your First Amendment right of religion is the same as my First Amendment right to free speech, to redress my government. We'll get into those in a minute. Speaking of no responsibility, in most states, you don't have to pay a dime if you're ruled against personally. You just let your tax-paying constituents pay it all for you. Your legal fees? What legal fees? You don't even have to show up to court. You can just have someone do it for you, right, Terrence? And yet, we still manage to endure these roadblocks, and we still often win. The people win all the time. When they can afford to have that war with you, of course. Finding a lawyer with the balls and willingness to go against that system is immensely challenging. Not because these people seeking justice are wrong, and that you are right, Mr. K, but because it costs so much time and money to do it. Most of us end up having to do a lawsuit pro se. That's when you don't have a lawyer, and you just try to do it yourself. And many of us still win. If we are capable enough to navigate the court system and are articulate enough to have a judge listen to you with a respectful ear, a judge that many times has ties to the same people that you want to drink whiskey and eat chicken wings with. And yet we still win. We still win, Terrence. You say you've researched this, but have you bothered to research Leon Valley? They've had to pay over $1 million in settlements. 10 million depending on who you talk to, but we'll never know for sure. The police chief, fired. The city manager. City council, slowly but surely, they were all replaced as well. Most of them. Keep doing research, Terrence. You still got a lot to learn about. Here, let me Google that for you. I'll help get you started. This is all a red herring anyway. How can you just sit up there and judge a person on how many lawsuits they have filed and won? What does that have to do with who's right and wrong, Terrence? What does that have to do with whether someone is following the law or not? Well, I guess it does. But it shouldn't have to come to that. I mean, that just shows how you think of citizens and people in general that don't already kiss your ass. It just goes to show how privileged your life has truly become. You know, Terrence, I might be wrong, but you're probably one of those people that immediately ask someone that you meet for the first time what they do for a living. It's not because you want to get to know the person more or to connect in some way. No, that's what normal people do. But it's as a class check. It's to see how respectfully you need to treat them and if you can get anything from them. And how you can treat them if they decide they don't want to put up with your bullshit. Is that you, Terrence? Mr. K? I think that's probably you. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you just ask them that question to see if they'll be willing to donate to your campaign. You know, see if they want to show their support to your cause. See if they want to join your fight against the evildoers who refuse to lick the boots. Are you telling me, Terrence, that you don't get donations to your various causes, organizations that you're a part of? Sounds sketchy. Councilman Terrence Kelly got elected by taking campaign contributions from people, some of which he never even met before, that wanted to see him win against his stronger opponent. Terrence always wanted to pay his own way for everything. He claimed he didn't need any money to accomplish his goals. People that get money for their work are trash. Commoners. However, as time went on, he found out that to win a seat on the city council of the fine city of Sheridan, he was going to need to get donations. According to Terrence, if people gave him money for his cause, it would make him some kind of sucker. Some kind of turkey that's not worthy to have basic rights, let alone run for office. I mean, if he raised money, if he had people that supported him, donating to his cause like some kind of loser YouTuber who gets paid for the content they create and support for their legal battles, money to travel, and man, would the government allow him to join them with such questionable moral fortitude, like taking money when it's offered to you by people that support you? What if Terrence needs a records request someday? How will he be treated if he accepts contributions and he doesn't live in complete poverty for what he believes in? No. Terrence knew that the only way to start getting paid by welfare collected from regular citizens under threat of financial ruin, kidnapping, and violence, that he would have to accept money from other people. So he did. And he won! Boy, it sure sounds nefarious when you play evil music behind it, huh? Nice try, Terrence. Attempting to make something like this about how someone gets their money when it seems to align with how you get yours. Someone gets paid for the work they do. Oh my God. That makes them bad. Let's try that logic of yours. Say, Terrence, do you have stocks? I know you do. You're a special class of people now. Did you know that some people who own and trade stocks are criminals? Does that mean you are too? Say, Terrence, your buddy over there, he's a cop. Some cops murder people. Does that mean you're friends with a murderer? The cops in Uvalde are a bunch of cowards, so are you friends with cowards? Just using your logic, Terrence. It's kind of dumb, huh?
They make their money off of their podcasts and their subscriptions and their YouTube clicks. So they have to get underneath your skin to make their ratings go up. That's what they do. That's how they make money.
Well, congratulations, Terrence. You just described journalism, my guy. You just described exactly how the corporate and independent media has made their money since before this country was founded. I know what you'll say. Oh, but you aren't real journalists. Well, what is a real journalist, Terrence? The Constitution says exactly who a real journalist is. It says that everyone is. That's right, every citizen. Every citizen has free press. It's so important that it guarantees it right in the First Amendment. It is there to, among other things, ensure that people like you, Terrence, don't get to decide who is a real journalist and who isn't. Every citizen is press. Do you know who issues press passes, Terrence? It's not the government. If someone has a press pass, it's either an employee ID generated by their own company, or they're issued one as part of being invited to a private event that's not open to the public. That's it. Everyone else gets to be a journalist if they want to be, and often even when they didn't want to be. For example, you remember George Floyd, right, Terrence? Do I need to Google that for you? No, I know you know who George Floyd is. I'll give you credit for that. Darnella Frazier, a 17-year-old girl, filmed George Floyd's murder in 2020. She was awarded a Pulitzer Prize in 2021 for her courage in recording the incident. She was a journalist that day, and was even rewarded as one. She wasn't even a legal adult yet, but Darnella was a U.S. citizen, and she was pressed that day. And she's pressed any other day that she chooses to be. Shoot, she might even make money off of it if people wanted to pay for it. I don't know, maybe it's just her hobby and she starts to go to her local city council meeting to disseminate to her audience that subscribes to her work. Darn it. People like what she does so much, she starts to get ad money for it and donations so that she can pay for gas and go to other places. She doesn't work for a corporate media company, so she's funded by her audience. Well, you tell her that she's not worth your time, that she's not a real journalist, and you tell your coworkers probably to not engage.
Don't play into it. Don't pay them no mind. Don't argue with them. Don't go back and forth with them. It's a waste of time. The main thing is not to play into it. You know, if you go and you do research, you look at these guys, have they really won anything?
You'll take the time to research us, all of us. Well, anyone you can figure out the name of anyway. Right, freshman councilman Jay Whitaker Brown?
An idiot, and I can't wait to find out your name. And I'm gonna come back at you. 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 And I'm gonna come back at you.
You won't research the Constitution, the established precedents of the right to film government officials in the course of their duty, the consequences of trying to have your feelings enforced over laws, nor taking any time to acknowledge the grievances being brought to you. No. Instead, you think you can ignore us when we're trying to talk to you and pound your chest talking all big and bad after barring everyone from speaking. Waiting until all opposition to you has left the room. Don't engage with them. Ignore them. You're not a king, Terrence. You work for the people. You think you get to sit in your castle all day merely tolerating the peasants? Enduring the rabble? Placating to all the normies who just shut up and pay your salary for the luxury service provided by the city employees. City employees like Dev Cranberry. You'll do that, of course, unless one or more of them decides to flex their rights and disagree with you. Then you think you get to force them all to shut up, or at best, speak to an unfeeling wall who just wants the meetings with the peasants to end already so that he can go hang out with the other members of royalty while eating chicken wings and drinking whiskey behind the velvet rope that you work so hard to get on the other side of. It's not just you and your ilk that act this way. Isn't that how the privileged, or those who believe they are, act in this country as well? Don't disturb my charmed life with your startling realities. Don't challenge the machine. Sure, it ends up grinding most of us up, but I'm comfortable enough at this moment in time to not want to disrupt what I've got. F reality. It makes me feel sad. Come barbecue with me. Definitely don't look up. And don't bother us with such icky things that can disrupt the glorious adequacy of what I've managed to hoard for me and mine. Just keep your head down. Be a good boy, and everything will be fine. With Terrence, though, it's worse than just cognitive dissonance and willful ignorance. He has powers none of us have. Like the power to take away the freedom of those that dare to disrupt the good vibes he has going on. To punish those who refuse to bow down to the unconstitutional, made-up rules that they've all agreed on. To do whatever it takes to maintain the comfort level and sensibilities of those that are well off and powerful enough to order people with guns to ruin the commoners' lives. He thinks he's a protected class that is out of reach of the regular people now. Now that he's got himself some health care and a pension, I can understand, I guess. It must be nice. What's that like? Huh. He can collude with his powerful friends to eliminate the First Amendment rights of anyone that's bothering that class of people, and be damned if they are disrupting those which are profiting directly from the system being challenged. Once some egos were bruised, there's no turning back now. Time to double, triple, quadruple down. Fill that moat outside Sheridan Castle with everything horrible to keep everyone that's not our kin out. If these peasants are allowed to speak, they might use language that makes Sally cry. I might be held accountable by the voters. I mean, even if they are right, they are always wrong now that egos have been damaged, feelings have been hurt, and I think one of them used the fuck word. Nah, this lack of decorum and demand for accountability must not stand. I will use all the power I have in the People's Republic of Sheridan, situated in the mighty kingdom of Arapahoe County, to ensure that no one that's not my friend, family, or coworker gets to use their rights to free speech, their right to free press, the right to petition the government for a redress of grievances, the right to peaceably assemble. It seems the only rights that Terrence and the city council and mayor will fiercely fight for in the First Amendment is the freedom of Sally's religion. Praying before a meeting to the Heavenly Father. You know, be whatever religion you want, or don't be any religion at all. You all know my stance on that. And if you don't, too long didn't read, I don't believe in a God. I don't have a religion, okay? Until proven otherwise. My dad was a preacher. I know all about your religion. I could debate anybody.
Yes, get on with it!
Let's go. Praying before a meeting to a specific God? You know not everyone has the same religion, right? You don't care that you're alienating people when you do that? Of course you don't. Thank Muhammad and Buddha that I worship Baphomet and Pan, the goat gods. Your prayers to Jehovah only strengthen my beliefs that anyone that forces their religion on you is merely drawing a line in the sand, declaring that you're either in our tribe or you are on the outside looking in.
You know what I mean? I've been doing this for not politics, but I've been in the federal government for a while. And I deal with First Amendment auditors all the time. We don't play, just don't play into it. You know what I mean? If you're going to sue someone, you go and sue them. You don't keep showing up to their front yard, you know, crying and whining and doing all this crazy stuff. You just go sue. You got all the evidence and all the stuff you need.
Yep.
Go make it happen. You know what I mean?
Well,
Once again, you show your complete ignorance, Terrence. 1, city council ain't your yard. You and your cohorts are not private citizens. To date, not one of us has shown up to your yards. Go ahead and try to prove it. We have been following the law the entire time. Although it's legal to protest outside someone's yard, by the way. We haven't. We're showing up to a city council meeting to have our grievances redressed. We're begging you to listen, to reason, and to take down the unconstitutional signs that say you can't film from public. We're asking you to allow the gathering of free press when conducting government business in a public lobby, which includes filming members of government while they're acting in their official capacity. We're asking you to drop the bogus charges on those you arrested and keep arresting who simply violated a policy put in place. Not a law, a policy put in place by the city manager, our dandy boy Dev. By the way, the city manager is not allowed to make laws for the public. They can only make rules for their employees to follow. And finally, to fulfill the original public records request made by DMA and the legally made public records request made by all of us later in December. We're giving you a chance to correct it before taking things further. Big Bad Terrence, who's been in federal government for many, many years, demonstrates here how little he actually has learned during that time. 1, you aren't a private citizen. Get that through your head. The city council is not your private yard. It's not where you eat chicken wings and drink whiskey with your friends. It's been like that up till now, but it's not like that. That's not reality. It's not a safe place to hide from the harsh criticisms of your actions or inactions. The city council is precisely where people go to complain when you or someone you're in charge of hurts them or otherwise violates them in some way. Right? Right. 2, you can't file a federal lawsuit against the city council, the city manager, and its police until the criminal charges are dealt with. You know, the ones you keep adding on? Yeah, the entirety of your fuck-ups has to occur first, and then we all get to sue you. You didn't know this, Terrence? Really? Oh boy. Ignorance. Or do you know? And you think enough people aren't educated enough to call you out for lying. Only you know if your ignorance is willful or not, Terrence. If it's just plain ignorance, though, you shouldn't speak so confidently about things you don't actually know anything about. The lawsuits are going to come. The lawsuits are going to come. It's just a matter of how much more shit you want to add to it. You guys already fucked up. It's up to you if you want to keep doubling, tripling, quadrupling down. All you've been doing is self-perpetuating the notion that people you hurt and mess with end up getting paid. That's how civilized society functions. Otherwise, everyone would just show up to people's front yards whenever they had a problem to work out. Violence and force are how you all settle your differences. Well, we don't play that way. You hate that people don't like you for how you all are acting. And you respond by making them not like you more and more and more. There's something broken with you all. It's amazing what ego mixed with power and a monopoly on violence will make a person do to normal people. The lawsuits will come when you all are done playing. That's how it works. And I thought you knew that, mister. I've been in federal government for years. Perhaps I gave you too much credit. It's amazing to see how many of the other city council members were nodding while you were demonstrating that you don't understand how federal lawsuits work. Boy, oh boy. You all look dumb for real.
Crying and whining and doing all this crazy stuff, you just go sue. You got all the evidence and all the stuff you need.
Yep.
Go make it happen. You know what I mean?
Well said.
They just want to come here, like I said, to get the attention, to get people riled up, to go on their podcast, and people will donate them $20 here and $15 there. That's how they make their money.
People donate money. Very good, Terrence. Once again, you described something normal in our society and painted it as nefarious. Well done, Mr. Government Man. Maybe you did learn something in all those years working in the federal government. What you were trying to make sound evil is how people with ideas, movements, charities, Sally's Church, and every political campaign to date has operated. And how you got to go to the policeman's ball all those years, I'd imagine. I bet you were the belle of the ball every time, Terrence. You clean up nice, I'm told. Did they not invite you? People donating money to what they believe in or they support, investing in someone or an idea, helping to fund an advocate for your voice that may never get heard otherwise. It's the foundation of how this country has operated since its beginning, since its creation, for Sally. So let me ask you, how do you make your money, Councilman Kelly?
My name is Terrence Kelly. I'm running for City Council Ward 3. I've lived in Sheridan for 5 years. I currently work with the United States Postal Service. I retired from Delta Airlines last year.
How did you win your election? Was it without donations? Huh. Without getting people to believe in what you believed in and to support you in any possible way? You did it without that? You did it without having people that wanted you to be their advocate for them when they alone would not be heard otherwise? None of us are driving around in nice fancy cars and have big houses on the nice side of the city like y'all. Turns out, going to jail and standing up for your rights, making complaints and following them up, having to travel, go to court, and wipe the floor with dummies, well, all that stuff costs time and money. Some people are willing to help further the cause of standing up against tyranny and standing up for the First Amendment in the face of people with guns and the means to ruin your lives. The means to bar you from speaking, asking for a redress of grievances, from being allowed in the City Hall building despite breaking no laws, getting arrested despite not breaking any laws, bruised, choked, submitted to anal, vaginal cavity searches, I'd imagine. The list goes on and on and on with the power that you all have against a single citizen without the means to fight you back. So when someone that's in the right is being treated wrongly, you now see what can happen. People show their support, whether it's money, time, showing up to meetings, trying to speak, spending days making a YouTube video since you wouldn't give me 3 minutes to speak. You all woke the fire of people that would otherwise not give two shits about this little corrupt town you have running here. You keep throwing gas on a burning fire and getting upset that it's starting to get hot for you. Do you stop though? Nah, your ego's too fragile. Your feelings and the feelings of your coworkers are so elevated on your list of priorities, you can't even think logically anymore. Now that you feel someone has offended them, you could just do your jobs and be done with it. But what do? You feel the heat building and you keep going back for more gas to throw on it. No one has more gas than Jay Whitaker Brown, though. That dude is going to hurt people before he dies of a heart attack in his 50s. He's the type of person that no one ever paid much attention to, so he got some hip tattoos and broed out. Got a little municipal power in a small town, finally found someone to spend his new money for him and tell him how he's a big man now, and he feels untouchable. So much so, he's talking to people like he's going to fight them, but then he tattles to his friends later who get warrants and protective orders on his behalf. He literally told Cache Valley that I can't wait to find out your name. He's a real tough guy. But let's move on from Sheridan's self-appointed prom king for now. Terrence, how someone legally makes money has nothing to do with anything to normal people. It's only weirdos like you and your ilk that think money equals status. Just another huge red herring that has nothing to do with anything, dude.
It ain't about them suing someone. They're not getting paid from suing anyone. That's the bottom line. You know what I mean?
I agree, buddy.
Not getting paid from suing people. I can't wait until this is all over and we get to play this video back to you. I'd prefer you guys just comply now and fold, but like when you have the best hand in poker and your opponent just keeps raising you, I'm happy to let you keep raising the pot with more. We have precedents, the law, the people, and luckily Sheridan is in the kingdom. We have a myriad of outside avenues to make sure you comply. First, we had to ask you to fix it. Only some kind of lawless hooligan would try to fight, kidnap, financially ruin someone else that's following the law and attempting to resolve their issues peacefully within City Hall. That's not us. That sounds more like what the Sheridan government is doing. Keep resisting. Keep doing all you can to force us to get help outside of going to City Hall. You will at least pay for your actions, and we'll probably lose your jobs before it's all said and done, as I said before. If there's any justice at all, you may just have to go to jail for a night. We all know that doesn't happen to people like you. But if it did, I'd pray to Sally's God that the corrections officers at Arapahoe County were way more gentle when they searched your bum than they have the reputation for. Nah. Unless you steal from rich people, the super citizens do not go to jail. The only thing that stops you is a hired government or the people voting you out. It's not a huge turnout in Sheridan, folks. It would take minimal effort to canvass the 2 city blocks that make up the People's Republic of Sheridan and get you all voted out. I know, Terrence and Jay, that you are new to your positions and you're riding that power high right now. Oh, feels so good. Municipal government position, money, oh, the power. Oh, God. I want to start dating you guys now. Just stop, guys. You're not the badasses you've built up in your minds. You should be working on helping Sheridan, not using your newly obtained power to fuck with and fight people that are just trying to get records requests that you don't like. Go back to doing your job and follow the law, Terrence. Jay, your dude bro routine ain't scaring anyone either, bro. Yo, dude, bro, homie. Just do your jobs and admit you were wrong and we can all move on once the lawsuits settle. We usually don't have to sue people when we are right. We've gotten changes made without going to court. One city council meeting later, and Cache Valley got Broomfield to take their signs down. Look, you're the ones that are resisting. You're the ones not complying with the law. You all are the ones that are the assholes in this bedtime story, no matter what you say about an individual, about independent journalists in this country, about activists, and everyone else that believes in the First Amendment. When they are out of the room and an army of armed police are at your ready. Speaking of, Lieutenant Mitchell, you took my records request, and I still expect it to be fulfilled. I haven't forgotten. Hey, reality fans, did you know that you can turn in your public records request to any government employee in Colorado? I may not have gotten arrested because of my epic escape skills. So brave, so brave, so brave. Pussy. Shut up. But I never heard back about my request, and I was threatened with arrest if I didn't leave a public building where I was conducting business as well as flexing my rights. I'm going to find out about what y'all are hiding in that pest control budget. I know there's something going on there, or why would you go to such lengths to hide it? That radar van money must be burning a hole in your pockets because it seems like you can't wait to pay it out to people that you're trying to unsuccessfully bully. Y'all ran into the wrong ones. You tried to take our lunch money, but we stood up to you, and now we'll be happy to take your lunch money while you get expelled from school. I know you'd prefer we just meet by the bike racks at recess and duke it out. But you're the ones that are the thugs with the monopoly on violence. We do our fighting legally and peacefully. Words are like bullets in your mind, but we don't use real bullets. Your police department bought them all. We just wanted to exercise our rights and conduct our business peacefully. We said, hey, what y'all are doing here is wrong. Instead of hearing us, you decided to die in this weird little hill and escalate with as much power as you can wield against normal folks to avoid admitting you messed up. Boy, oh boy. I didn't like that episode being so intense, but I felt it was necessary to address this, to directly speak on what's been going on, and to share it with all of you. And I swear to God, from now on, the episodes will be a lot more light. That said, I will be following up on this issue, so there will be some times where we do get serious around here. It's reality. And as you guys know, I don't sugarcoat stuff. I try to make it entertaining for you and easier to swallow, but at the end of the day, reality is reality. Reality's harsh. Reality is rough. And sometimes it's not that funny. Thank you for joining me today, and join me next time. Episode 2. We're going to be adding special guests. We're going to have sketches. We're going to do commercials. Billy Zapka, for example, is in talks with me about a commercial. Apparently he sells zappers. We'll have fun. Hang in there, please. Come on back, all right? Let us know in the comments what you think about today's episode. Definitely subscribe, share, and come back for the fun. That's the effing reality.